Right, we've got the grasses growing out here, and along with all the buttercups, which we thought was a chance that the chickens might keep rid of. But it's not looking that way. You can actually see over here, this is where we first started. That's the very first house, and for whatever reason, buttercups have erupted there. So we're still coming out probably 3 times a day at the moment to try and stop them eating eggs, but not really succeeding. And I cannot find the variable that's causing it. So one day this week we got 124 eggs, which is obviously a massive record. And then the rest of the week we got 99 the day before. I mean, look at this. So we got started the month 90, so up to 124, and then 106 yesterday. So we're still getting a lot out of that one down there, and then the 3 at the bottom and the magic box. We're using this one as pretty much a store during the day, although we've got broodies on broodies. So many broodies I can't tell which one's a broodie because it's hard to tell immediately, so I'm pulling out chickens that are just trying to lay an egg to see their leg ring number. Right, so you see, goodness me, a fistful in here. They have learnt to tip this up and eat them out the back. It's another trick they've learnt. And then possibly a broodie, if not someone laying an egg in there. This house is only a temporary nest box. I'm still waiting for the boxes to arrive, but they do love it. It's because I think one of the reasons is this one doesn't have any flaps at the front, so you can see right at the front there. Whereas this one, you see, does have the flaps, and so they definitely prefer it. So it's good to know that we need to keep a variety, and they're also segregated. They've got these separators in the middle, so it means that then the nest boxes are much smaller. Whereas with those ones, the whole nest box is a 3 bay long. And so the chickens that like their privacy, which some do, they have to share it with others. And so I do definitely see some of the flighty breeds, the leg bars, the Aracunas to a degree, but like the Leghorn that we've got in here, and the Campine, all definitely prefer having the privacy. See, goodness me. So that was all just out this one box on the end here. Let's see what's in the middle here. You can see it's really interesting. So when you come in here first thing in the morning, there's noisy leg bars. When you come in here first thing in the morning, almost entirely brown. And then the blue egg layers, which are the cream leg bars and the Aracanas, they then start laying later in the day, and they bring out these blue ones. So it's really, and they'll lay later in the day as well. So obviously you get exceptions to both, but predominantly we're seeing a real spread. Let's see. So there's like a broodie in there. So that's quite a good collection. I'll then move them into that house now, and then collect from the other boxes. So then this is the top box after I've filled it. So that's out of, like I say, these 3, the magic box at the end, and that box down there. I've booted out also the broodies in there, one of which is stood on the top now, another one down there. And so it's pretty full today. Normally if we get 3 rows, that's 90. And then a few more above, we can hit the, we'll get into sort of 120 territory. I've just realised doing that I don't really need to put them in the top box. I could bring the nest box out, I could bring the box out. I've only been putting them in the top box because of when I was doing season 6, Come Collect Eggs with Me, so I had something to collect each day. So doing them like this does actually block off a nest box as well, so I might change that. However, if I bring the box out, they just poo all over it. so we'll see. I haven't moved this in a few days now, in a couple of weeks now, so it's really due a move, so we'll probably move that this afternoon or tomorrow. But the summer seems to have slowed down the frequency in which I have to move it, so I'm trying to get it right, because these trees here, we're going to run down the side of them and they will offer me a lot of shade in the summer. So if I do it too quickly, we'll come across there and then we'll come back across this field and down, and so I'll lose the shade. So I want to spend as much of summer up here as I can. Time will tell how successful it is, and I'm thinking of going, there's another option of going across the field in a thinner square, which I'm not sure, because obviously then we'll come back through those same squares. Although I guess I could jump squares. That's not a bad idea actually. If I split up the field into columns that across the entire width of the field, and then I jump columns and save the grass. I don't know if that will save me more, give me more time or not. Not sure. It's something we'll have to figure out. We haven't done a full summer. Like I said earlier, we started in those buttercups over there. We've made our way around the field and back down. I'll take you for a tour actually through the old moves and show you how we're getting on. I'm in two minds at the moment, because we could move. Right now, I literally just move the house, drag the house off, and then leave the bedding on the ground. Now, longer term, I think that will be good. For short term, it has stifled the grass because it's been so thick. So we start here on our first ever move, and as you can see, the buttercups reign here. As for ground coverage, there are still a few bare patches, but predominantly, no more than this is where the cows walk up and down. Cows are currently in the bush over there, so it's not too bad in there. There was also only 30 or so chickens there, so it's definitely going to have less impact in general. The grass in the range, no noticeable difference in the grass in the range. There's a thistle patch here, but that thistle patch was there last year as well. So then this is our second, and you can see we're using miscanthus at this point, and so it definitely hasn't lifted as much. Although I can see the cows have recently found this part of the grass. They've been chomping away. I mean, the grass is really thick down here, really thick. And that was in the range or just off the range. I mean, the grass is thick over there in the corner, so it's not just the chickens. Then we moved quite some distance actually, on reflection, over here. So this was 2 moves, I think. So you can see here, really bad, and this is where I'm contemplating shoveling it, getting the tractor and just scraping off the top. But like I say, I'm in two minds whether we should move the shavings and let the grass grow for this year, or we leave them and let it rot down over this summer and winter and let it rot into the soil. So what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to leave what we've done, and then from now on I will pick up the shavings and we'll compare and contrast the two different sets. So then this must have been about January. Maybe earlier than that, because then we got stuck in the winter over here. Buttercups really reigning supreme. They always have in this field a little bit, but so you see, we stopped here for a bit, and actually this isn't so bad. I'm starting to realise that it really depends on the type of shavings I use as well. So the quick growing stuff like pine really takes a while to rot down. So these are the mega length, and that stuff's fairly gone anyway. The cows are quite good at grazing over it. I often see them sleeping on the old chicken bedding, so it must retain its heat, which is good. It means it's composting underneath. So all in all, we will soon find out. And yeah, this is where we wintered, and you can really see where we made an impact. And again, leading over to the chickens over there, where we just, because of the mud, we just didn't move for weeks and weeks. So again, the grass is coming through, but this stuff is still pretty compact. We do leave the chickens to graze over it for a few days, if not a couple of weeks after. But this stuff is so far off rotting, although that's a bit of cow poo. But yeah, again, this is just sort of those pine shavings, I think. The softer woods, the faster growing woods seem to take less time to, more time to rot down. Not sure on that one, but I know there's a few people really as interested as I am on how that works. And so I will continue to keep us updated on it and see how we're getting on, but that's a big part. So because we just leave the shavings behind, that's the part that we will see whether that works or not. It definitely is the bit that slows down like that. If you look at the ground coverage now from, well, I guess you've got one section there, and then from here to here is pretty much all now shavings, because we had to spread it out so far. Because it was winter, we spread it out so far. It'll be interesting to see how that one gets on over the summer, because it's going to be quite dry. Well, it seems to be it's going to be quite dry. And then again through the winter as it starts to rot down again. This is one of the projects I've been working on. So this is the meat room. And so we've been putting up this melamine wall to try and help us clean it down, to give it a wipeable surface and thus get us to be able to approved. So in the egg packing room, we've only got this, so this is just painted wall where the egg grader is. And this is an approved room for health and hygiene point of view, but this is for food products. And so I've been putting this wall up. This is what it was before on the side here, and then I've just been putting up this melamine. It's still not finished. The gaps need filling in, and I need to put some silicone in the corners. So we'll do predominantly chicken in here and some beef and pork, but although we've butchered beef and pork in the past, I don't really have the expertise in-house to do it, and it does take up a lot of space. So we will do some, but predominantly will be the chicken processing, which we will do in the meat room next door, and then this is sort of what we call the packing area. So that's all yet to be approved by the council. So that's our one of my to-do list. Approved by the council, so I've got to get it finished, finalised. They potentially want another sink in there. We've already given them this sink, which is foot operated with warm water, and so I'm going to try. I think I might try and blag that, just because otherwise we'll have three sinks in there, which seems unnecessary. Then we got a couple in the medical ward. This one's had a similar problem to Krogu, the cockerel, and she can't walk. She can't put weight on one of her feet. You can just see her lifting it up there. So we're giving her a chance to see if it gets better. And there's another one in here with 4 guinea fowl for eggs underneath her. I'm not convinced they're fertile. Very sadly, this little guy's mate, the little chick, didn't survive. I'm really not sure why, which is a bit upsetting as well. He just one day just stopped eating, and then by the next day he'd already passed away, which is really sad. This guy's doing really well. His name's Goose, and we're pretty sure at this point he's a Muscovy duck. But he's very tame. He comes and chats to us, and he comes and hangs out with us. I'm rather proud of this. Anyone who has ducks will know they are a fiend for just throwing stuff around. So I found this shallow bowl, and then found this old barbecue grill, and then his water sits on there along with his food, and all the mess he makes goes through the grill and onto the feed, rather than us having to clear this out every day, which works really well. I also take him out most days to give him a bath as well, because he loves the water. But he's growing super fast. Then here we have Brody's old chicks. There's 5 of them in here who are doing pretty well, 5.5 weeks old. We hatched them to test out the fertility rate of our hatching eggs and have had some really great results. I've also had great feedback from a lot of people who have bought the eggs. Like one message a couple of days ago that was telling me that they got 10 eggs out of 12 hatched, which is really great for postage eggs. We're doing really well. Mum does a lot of the packing, so it's mostly credit to her. But we split, because she does a lot of the work for the breeders, we split the revenue on that. So that works quite well. Then finally, I put up this run outside Moran's house to allow them to come out here, enjoy the time. And then we've got Dane Brody Dench in here. And so we move this run every couple of days as well. She's got 6, I think. And they all look like cooking Morans. And mostly look like cockerels as well. Pure, they're not 100% pure, as you can see by the colour of this one's neck. They do what I need. They'll do it for what I need. And there are some pure girls in there, so anything with a copper neck is pure. We've fallen behind a bit on the plan because I was expecting to buy 200 birds almost a month ago, 2 months ago now. They got eaten by the fox at the cellar, so they never arrived, and I hadn't been breeding my own flock in anticipation because I was going to buy the second and breed the third like I bred the first. But we're behind now, so we've had to catch up. So we've got this incubator, which is the Rinse 190, I think it's called. And that takes 148 eggs, 144 maybe. And then this takes 288. And so we've got 6 trays pretty much full in there. Predominantly black copper Morans, but also we've got Vorviks, light Sussex, a few cream leg bars in there as well. So they're due, they went in pretty much a week ago, 10 days ago. So they'll be due to hatch soon, and that will be the beginning of the next flock. We've been having real rat problems in here as well. I've managed to slow them down by putting this barrier up, but we get a pallet of feed at a time from Moles Valley, and they've just been eating away at it. So I've raised them up, and also the ones I couldn't raise up, I've blocked off by a barrier. Then with the cattle, where are the cattle? Then with the cattle, we've now got 3 calves. You can see them parked up over here. And they're going pretty well. I want to start mob grazing them, so to start that, we have sectioned off this part of the field so I can get a good run up there before we then block them off from having the rest. And as of the last couple of days, it's just starting to grow in there. They're just starting to grow, although the grass across the whole field is starting to grow. But I'm really keen to mob graze them properly out here. We've also just had an opportunity to take 3 of them down to a tree plantation and have them graze in there. So that's also another really exciting project that we'll be doing, to see how they fare. The owner there wants to knock down the brambles, and we obviously are looking for pasture, so it works in both directions. Pretty symbiotic relationship. I'm not sure how good how the Australian lowlines are at breaking down brambles, but we will find out. I think it'll be a fun experiment regardless. So most of the income we're getting at the moment is from hatching eggs and chicks. So we've just started selling chicks, which I'm not sure whether I enjoy or not. We just sold 100 chicks to Field to Farm last week before last, which went pretty well. I'm not sure if selling live animals my jam, just because I love them too much. So, and hatching eggs has fallen behind because I've stopped posting and I've not got a current series of Come Collect Eggs With Me. The number of orders that are coming in for that have fallen behind, so I need to start posting videos again on TikTok. And so I hope you've enjoyed this sort of content, just sort of a ramblings around the farm. I'm going to be doing a bit more of the long form stuff just as we start doing the projects, and we take a break from the Come Collect Eggs with Me videos over on sort of TikTok and the short form video. But there's a lot going on, and I'm struggling to get the videos out. So I think I'm going to do a bit longer, less frequently is my plan, along with sort of the project videos as well, which I plan on doing. So I've got a few projects to do, and also want to document the flock developing as well. So I'll see you all next time.